Today we gather here not merely as individuals from different regions and nations, but as a collective community of scholars, researchers, visionaries, united by a shared commitment to knowledge, dialogue, and global collaborations. Without further delay, to begin this auspicious occasion, I would like to invite our distinct dignitaries to kindly come forward for the ceremonial lighting of the lamp.
Now I would like to invite, and now I request, now I request all the delegates
All the
take
delegates.
over now I would like to repeat. Now I would like to request dignitaries to take their seat. Then this.
Now I would like to request all the dignitaries to the seat, to take their seat. ଟିକେ just ହେଇଗଲା ହଁ The lighting of the lamp symbolizes the triumph of knowledge over ignorance and hope over darkness. Thank you, respected dignitaries and delegates. To add solemnity to the occasion, I now invite Ms. Lavanya Nayak to, well, to the welcome song. Now I would like to all the guests to take their seat in the dais. Hola, guest.
Ah, 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 ah। सुर से सुर मिला के गाए मंगल गान, सुर से सुर मिला के गाए मंगल गान। हृदय में प्रेम लिए करते स्वागत सम्मान, सुर से सुर मिला के गाए मंगल गान। ला 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 La 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 la। मंगलमय है आज की वेला, शुभ है ये आगमन, धन्य भाग्य है आप पधारे, धन्य हुआ आंगन। मंगलमय है आज की वेला, शुभ है ये आगमन, धन्य भाग्य है आप पधारे, धन्य हुआ आंगन। दीप से दीप जलाकर करते हैं प्रणाम, दीप से दीप जलाकर करते हैं प्रणाम। हृदय में प्रेम लिए करते स्वागत सम्मान, सुर से सुर मिला के गाए मंगल गान, सुर से सुर मिला के गाए मंगल गान। थैंक यू।
Thank you for the beautiful and soul-stirring rendition. Now, I would like to invite our esteemed faculty Ashwino Gomango sir to moderate further inaugural proceeding. Sir.
Good morning and very warm welcome once again. Distinguished Chief Guest, Honorable Vice Chancellor, esteemed guests of honor, respected member of Indian Sociological Society, whom we expect us to join in virtual mode, distinguished scholars from India and abroad, colleagues, research scholars, students, and invited delegates. It's both a privilege and an intellectual honor to inaugurate this two-day international seminar on societies in the 21st century, rethinking structures, inequalities, and sustainable futures, organized by the Department of Sociology, Mahamanekeshwari University. We gather at a critical and interesting times. The 21st century is marked by an unprecedented transformation, rapid technological change, shift political economies, intensifying climate crisis, new forms of inequality, and reconfigurations of identity, citizenship, and democracy. We observe that social structures that at once appeared stable are being reconstituted through the process of globalization, digitization, migration, and ecological disruptions. Simultaneously, older hierarchies such as caste, class, gender, ethnicity, religion, and region, to mention a few, seems to persist, but often in renewed and more complex forms. This seminar seeks to address precise these tensions between continuity and change, between structural reproduction and transformative possibilities, between development and disposition, between policy intent and lived social realities. In the context of Odisha, these questions acquire a particular urgency. Our region is rich in mineral resources and simultaneously home to some of the most historically marginalized Adivasis communities in India. The expansion of mining, industrial corridors, infrastructural development has produced a complex social consequences. Displacement, ecological degradation, transformation of livelihoods, cultural dislocation, and restructured local power relations. These shifts invite important theoretical and methodological questions, such as how do we conceptualize structure in an era of fluidity? Do classical categories of caste, class, community, and state adequately capture contemporary inequalities, or do we require a new conceptual vocabularies? How might a sociological theory account simultaneously for continuity, rupture, and uneven transformations? As social scientists and researchers, perhaps we are confronted with a pressing theoretical and methodological challenges. What does it mean to study society when social life unfolds across physical, digital, and ecological domain at once? How do we combine ethnography with policy analysis, local fieldwork with global comparison? How do we bring lived realities into conversation with big data and virtual realities that increasingly shape our social life? In contexts such as Adivasis regions affected by mining and development, how can research remain empirically grounded while being ethically attentive to questions of voice, representation, and power? Therefore, we, the organizers of this international seminar, envisage this gathering not merely as an academic ritual, but a space to rethink between social policy and social realities, growing economic and ecological sustainability, structural inequalities, and democratic possibilities. So, as we commence this inaugural session, we are honored by the presence of distinguished scholars and dignitaries whose contribution to sociology, anthropology, and public life inspires us. Their participation underscores the importance of this dialogue on policy, academia, and society. With these very broad and brief words, I extend a heartfelt welcome to all of you uh, to this international seminar. And now, to proceed further in our schedule in this inaugural session, now I'd like to request uh, all of us to stand for the university anthem. Thank you. Please be seated. Now, I would like to welcome Dr. Brendra Suna, the head of the Department of Sociology and the convener of this international seminar, for the welcome address.
Thank you, Ashina. Good morning, all. Indeed, I will make only 2 to 3 minutes, okay, not more than that, because we are already running out of time. I will begin with Zygmunt Bauman. In his book, Liquid Modernity, he says, the task of sociology is to reveal the invisible structures that shape human life and to imagine alternatives that make society more just, more equal, and more human. I, on behalf of Department of Sociology and Organizing Committee, I place my record on my heartfelt appreciation to our Honorable Vice Chancellor in charge, Madam Dr. Nivedita Nath, under whose leadership she is the chief patron of this international seminar, and her guidance has helped us to come to this stage. I am also equally grateful to, in absentia, Dr. Gunandini Naik, OS Registrar of our university. Heartfelt thanks to Major Dr. Jaydev Sahu sir, who is the Deputy Registrar sir, who is on the dais. Sir, namaskar. Thank you for coming, sir. In absentia, our finance officer, Suresh Pidiseka sir, in absentia, he is absent. And these are the patrons. My sincere gratitude to the IS President and Secretary, those who are supposed to be online, but unfortunately they are not there. And my sincere thanks and acknowledgement to Dr. Rajkishore Mahana sir, who is a nodal officer of Prime Minister Uchatar Shiksha Abhijan under this, which this seminar is going on. And finally, we have 3 international scholars, and five. Two will be joining online, and this is really gives me an immense pleasure that we are having this within this time. In the last valedictory of English Department National Seminar, a co-convener of the department, Sanjeev sir said, the baton of this academy national seminar has been transferred to Department of Sociology. In the series of this seminars, we begin with history, then political science, then English, and this is sociology. So we find it is quite good momentum for our university that it is taking place. And here is a very big, long lecture, but I'm not going to that. Just I welcome on behalf of our department and also university. Finally, I would like to remember the tallest sociologist of our country, Professor Andre Vete, who has expired on 3rd February 2026. He says about, as the theme says, inequality and social change. Inequality is not merely an economic phenomena, it is embedded in the social structure and sustained by institutions of power, privilege, and prestige. This insight remains profoundly relevant, understanding how social hierarchies are reproduced even within modern and democratic frameworks. In sincere hope, the deliberation over this session will generate meaningful insight, productive debates, and new direction for research and policy. Once again, I warmly welcome all of you to look forward to an intellectually enriching and socially relevant seminar. With this, I would like to thank you all for joining today's international seminar. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Birendra Suna. Now, with gratitude, I would like to welcome Dr. Nibedita Nath, the Vice Chancellor in charge of the university and Chairperson PG Council, to address the gathering.
Ji Ma Manikeshwari. A very good morning to one and all present here. Esteemed Chief Guest, Sri Sanjay Kumar Das from United States of America. Esteemed Guest of Honor, Professor Roland Hardenberg, Director, Frobenius Institute, University of Frankfurt, Germany. Esteemed another Guest of Honor, Professor Peter Berger, Faculty of Religion, Culture and Society, Comparative Study of Religion, Groningen University, Netherlands. Esteemed keynote speaker, Professor Rabindra Garada, Head of the Department, Sociology, Utkal University. Deputy Registrar, Ma Manikeshwari University. Convener of this two-day national seminar, Dr. Birendra Suna, co-convener, Dr. Priyaranjan Behera, Sri Ashwini Gamango, invited delegates of the dais, Professor Tattwamasi Palta Singh. We have with us Dr. Alok, Dr. Murmu Madam, Dr. U.C. Satpathy, Sri Manchal Mishra Sir, Coordinator B.A. Musa, Dr. Mahana, all the faculties of Ma Manikeshwari University, research scholars, and my dear students, persons from media, all the technical support providers. On behalf of Ma Manikeshwari University, I extend a warm welcome to everyone who is present here on this two-day P.A. Musa sponsored international seminar on societies in the 21st century, rethinking structures, inequalities, and sustainable futures. It is both a privilege and a profound pleasure for me to welcome everyone to this seminar organized by one of the very vibrant departments of Ma Manikeshwari University, that is the Department of Sociology. At the outset, I must extend my heartfelt thanks to the delegates from Germany. I'm so happy to meet I'd like to say my teacher, my visiting professor, Professor Roland Hardenberg, who taught me for 6 months at Sambalpur University as a visiting professor, social anthropology and kinship. Sir, I express my heartfelt thanks to you for meeting you after so many years. I also extend my thanks to Professor Peter Berger, who is also the associate of Roland sir. He is also a part of the Indo-German project, which ran almost 10 years under the guidance of Professor Deepak Kumar Behera, the Vice Chancellor of 4 universities of Odisha, who also been to our university 15 days back. Thank you so much, sir, for coming here. I'm so delighted to meet you after a long time. I'm thankful to our chief guest again. Thank you so much, sir. And all the delegates who are present here, for whom we could organize this 2-day international seminar, and all those who will be joining in online mode. Coming to the theme of the seminar, Dr. Ashwinya Gamango has already introduced the theme very beautifully. The 3 words, societies in 21st century, then the structure, sustainability, and inequality. As we are living in 21st century, the societies are at a historical juncture marked by technological advancement, global interconnectedness, ecological precarity, and widening social inequalities, which is one of the theme under the title of this national seminar. And the disciplines like sociology and anthropology have always sought to understand the invisible architectures of the society, the structure, the function, the relation between the structure and function, the systems of exclusion, inequality, patterns of mobility and solidarity. Another word in the theme, sustainable future, in particular, invites us to reflect the intergenerational justice. Sustainability is not an environmental concern, it is a social and cultural concern too. I'm not going deep into the theme because we are already running late, and Mr. Gamango has very beautifully introduced the theme. I commend the Department of Sociology for envisioning this seminar as an international platform, and the Department of Sociology is reaching new heights under the leadership of Dr. Birendra Shuna and other faculties. Faculties like Dr. Suna and Dr. Priyaranjan Behera are continuing different projects under ICSSR and other funding agencies. Mr. Gamango has gone to Germany for academic participation in a workshop. The students of Department of Sociology are qualifying JRF NET and other competitive examinations, and not only in academics, but in extracurricular and co-curricular fields also. The students of Department of Sociology are bringing laurels to the university, and hence I congratulate the head of the department, all the faculties, all the dedicated scholars and students for all their dedication, devotion, for all their hard work. And I can definitely say that the Department of Sociology will prosper a lot in coming days. And with these words, I formally inaugurate the national seminar, international seminar on societies in 21st century, rethinking structures, inequalities, and sustainable futures. I formally declare it open, and I wish the seminar will be very success. But at the beginning, I beg apology. Many programs are going on today in the university. we will be having this two-day international seminar. We will be having 4 interviews for guest faculties in 2 parallel boards. We are also having Council of Higher Secondary Education. So I'm so sorry that I'm not able to be present full time here, but I wish all the best to the Department of Sociology to this two-day international seminar. And last but not the least, once again I thank our esteemed delegates from USA and Germany, Professor Garoda sir, Professor Tattwamasi Paltan Singh sir, Dr. Alok, Dr. Murmu madam, and I must thank our Deputy Registrar, our Registrar in absentia, our Coordinator PA Musa, Dr. Mahana, and we have with us our senior teachers and advisors, Dr. UC Satpathy, Sri Simanchal Misra sir, everyone who is present here for their active participation and support. Thank you everyone. Jai Ma Manikeshwari, Jai Hind, Bande Utkala Janani.
Thank you, Vice Chancellor Madam, for those encouraging words and for generously speaking about Department of Sociology. Now, it's time to felicitate our guests and dignitaries. So I request our students to do the proceedings. Now, I would like to request Dr. Nivedita Nath, the Vice Chancellor in charge, to facilitate our chief guest, Sri Sanjay Kumar Das. Vice Chancellor Madam will felicitate the chief guest. Again, I would like to request Vice Chancellor Madam to felicitate our keynote speaker, Professor Rabindra Gorara. And followed by felicitation of our guests of honor, Professor Roland and Professor Peter Berger. Thank you. Now, I would like to request our convener, Dr. Brendra Sunasa, to felicitate Deputy Registrar. Oh, sorry, please continue, then. Sorry, a correction. Professor Roland, I would like to request you to felicitate our Deputy Registrar, Dr. Joydev Sausar. Professor Peter, I would like to request you to felicitate our convener, Dr. Birendra Suna sir. Please give. Professor Peter will felicitate the convener, Dr. Birendra Suna. Now, I'd like to request the chief guest to felicitate the Vice Chancellor, Madam. I request Sri Sanjay Kumar Das to felicitate the Vice Chancellor, Madam. Next, I would like to request the keynote speaker, Professor Garoda, to felicitate Dr. Rajkishore Mahana. Yeah, Dr. Mahana is the PM Usha coordinator. So it is his under leadership that we organize this event.
Now I'd like to request Madam to felicitate Priyaranjan sir. Now I'd like to request Professor Peter to felicitate Dr. Osino Gamango. Okay, now I request Osino Gamango to further. Right.
Thank you to all the dignitaries and our guests. Now it's time to release the book of abstract of the international seminar on the theme Societies in the 21st Century. I request the students to do. Please, students. नहीं To inform you all that the Book of Abstract contains more than 100 abstracts and a message from the Union Minister of Education and the state. Thank you. Now I'd like to request to address the gathering Major Dr. Joydev Sausa, the Deputy Registrar of the University, because he has to leave in a while for some other engagement.
Thank you, sir. Namaskar to all and special pranam and ebong namaskar jo sir mane bidesh ru aschanti, but they are now part and parcel of Odisha. I think they have internalized Odia. Honorable Vice Chancellor of our university, respected Chief Guest Sri Sanjay Kumar Das sir, Dr. Birendra Shuna sir, Head of the Department of Sociology, distinguished guests of honor, Professor Roland and Professor Peter sir, esteemed keynote speaker Professor Rabindra Garada sir, respected Registrar, President and Secretary of the Indian Sociological Society, distinguished professors, scholars, delegates, and dear students. It gives me immense pleasure and pride to welcome you all to this two-day international seminar on societies in the 21st century, rethinking structures, inequalities, and sustainable futures. As reflected in the program schedule, this seminar brings together eminent scholars from India and abroad to deliberate upon some of the most pressing concerns of our time: social inequality, democracy, tribal development, gender justice, climate change, digital transformation, and sustainable futures. We are deeply honored by the gracious presence of our distinguished chief guest and internationally acclaimed scholars who have traveled from far and near to enrich this academic gathering. Your presence strengthens the academic spirit of Ma Manikeshwari University and inspires our young scholars to think critically and globally. This seminar is not merely an academic exercise, it is a platform for dialogue, reflection, and collaborative thinking in an era marked by rapid technological change and widening social disparities. It is essential that we revisit and rethink our social structures with sensitivity, inclusiveness, and sustainability. I sincerely congratulate the department and the organizing committee for their dedicated efforts in organizing this prestigious event. I am confident that the deliberations over these 2 days will generate meaningful insights and contribute significantly to contemporary sociological discourse. With these words, I once again extend my heartfelt welcome to all the dignitaries and participants and wish this seminar a grand success. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Now, unfortunately, we supposed to be joined by the President of Indian Sociological Society, Professor Dipti Ranjan Saho, but due to technical issue, maybe we'll wait for a while at the same time. So we'll go ahead with the keynote address. So we'll see when he joins, we could allow him to address us. So now I request Professor Rabindra Garoda to deliver his keynote address.
This one. Good morning to all of you. Erudite scholars sitting on the dais, invited guests, and my dear students, media person, all are sitting there. This is a really great opportunity to be here, to participate in such a oldest college that turned to be done university now, and it is a pride of the state. And Ma Manikeswari, the deity, that's what exactly we need to have a lot of blessing for that. I'm really happy to be here, invited by the Department of Sociology, and I'm really grateful to our Vice Chancellor here, register. Because of them, a lot of academic activities is happening. And I'm really very happy that it is Sociology Department who is doing wonderful work. And in this seminar, it is a very heart-touching and gaining or going to the deep of the society. Because when you think of something, that what generally you talk about. You talk about what exactly, a lot of social sciences are here. And physical sciences that are also here. Even when you talk about the physics, chemistry, biology, then can you think of physics, chemistry, biology without sociology or without society? Even a chemistry student also talk about the sociology. Without society, no branch of knowledge could progress. So sociology is a mother subject and interdisciplinary subject that link to all other subjects, and without which exactly we cannot think of. Now, the same subject, when it's going to have a scientific study, we generally sociologists study the society scientifically. It is scientific study. Sociology is a scientific study of societies. And this society is something now in 21st century is undergoing changes. And that changes what exactly we need to look at. Not simply the changes that you have to think about it, but also you see that how the same society supposed to deliver something, but the Western society and the global society is getting inside it and disturbing it. So the originality, sociology in India, sociology of India, what should be the sociology for India? Society in India or society of the people in general, and the society in the mainstream people is something else. So that is what exactly now things is happening and things changing over here. I'm just going to talk about the 21st century, the topic. Social structure, inequality, sustainable futures of marginalized and small society in 21st century. Because that will be more important than the big society, what exactly we are in. And it is because of this big society, how the small society, like a tributary, is losing their identity in a sea. And that's what exactly is very important over here. Social structure, inequality, and sustainable future of marginal and small society in 21st century is discussed and really rightly done by our HOD, Birendra Shuna, and such a very nice topic he has generated, and these things exactly give some light for this 2-day seminar. Here, it's, you know, that today I want to speak about society often described as a small. Small in number, small in political power, small economic influence. But here is truth is that they are small in population, but they are immense in wisdom. If you say who are these people, and if talk about that way, then they are the indigenous people, tribal, scheduled tribes, nomadic and semi-nomadic pastoralists, denotified communities, ethnic minorities in fragile ecological zone, linguistic minority rooted in forest and mountain, island communities such as those in Maldives, Andaman Islander. All these people are basically, they are having a small society, small communities. But in 21st century, when this mega understanding of sociology, the concept and theory is going to talk about, then how exactly it is applicable to them and what exactly they are going to give us. Because in 21st century, these people are having a lot of problems and a lot of dynamics, a lot of conflict. And because of that, what exactly sociologists need to have something for them. You know, these small people, generally you talk about whole world, every 3 words is there. Vice Chancellor was talking about the structure, sustainability, and inequality. She put in sustainability in the middle. You know, why sustainability is very important? Because this is a really, it's a important word throughout the world is going on. Because without sustainability, nothing is going to happen. And we all big society people, we talk about sustainable development elsewhere sitting in the World Summit, but you are not going to the ground level, where exactly small society, they generate the ecology by themselves. And that's a time has come to listen to them. The sustainability, what you talk elsewhere, please come down to the village and to ground reality. Go to the ground level and think about what exactly it is as such. So sustainability is very important over here. Then only sociologists are talking about social structure, inequality, all these things. So now, this sustainability, who is exactly going to do that? The small society, they protect biodiversity, they conserve forest, they sustain rivers, they preserve languages. But nobody is going to listen them. Rather than we are imposing our way of understanding what is biodiversity, what is forest, what is river, and what is exactly the mainstream languages. Or rather, sometimes we talk them, they are the backward people. Because what exactly they do. Today, if you talk about whole world, then the irony is that at around 6% of total indigenous tribal population is there throughout the world. But you know, the 80% of ecosystem, that what exactly sustainable future is thinking about, 80% of the biodiversity is managed by them, taken care of by them. But unfortunately now, there are the 18 to 19% of the total poorest people in the world belong to them. In India, we are having 8.6% the tribal, scheduled tribes population. And you see their educational level, health level, everything. But what exactly you say is that we try to mainstreaming on them. We try to impose our policy program on them. But we are not going to listen what exactly they want to talk to us. So now the sociology need to think about them and what exactly they are going to talk about. Here, why these communities, basically the indigenous community throughout the world, the tribal, nomadic, semi-nomadic, pastoralist, denotified communities in India, ethnic minority, linguistic minorities, islanders, they are basically how they go together in spite of lot of things happen last, many century, but still the people are living and they are living with the nature. Because the first thing is that this small society, they are not small, but the big resources, big wisdom they are having, they run by their kinship center. They run by the kinship society. Kinship means what exactly? I'm talking about here. They are not talking about the property relationship. They are talking about ancestral relationship. They live with the people. They are seniors. They are forefather when they left them, and they try to worship them. They remember that they are not a blind believer in mythology. They really in a practical life they are the people. Why they worship their ancestor? Because the ancestor exactly the link to their life, and they ecologically embedded, because by the ecology, for the ecology, of the ecology, the philosophy they wanted to have. And they have a collective orientation, because they believe in collectivity rather than individual things what is happening today, and they give more importance to morality. Very importantly, I want to say is that they believe in reciprocity over accumulation. Today the whole world is believe in accumulation, investment, all economic activities going on. But they believe the reciprocity. They believe in continuity with the nature rather than extraction, what exactly today is happening. They want to have a belongingness rather than competition. That's what exactly is very important over here, to rethink about the knowledge of the small society. What kind of inequality today, at least the example are given in case of India. In 21st century, the people, those who are in jungle, those who are in periphery, those who are living with the hamlet, they are having a land displacement in name of development. They lived in forest for century, but the mining corporation Arab, they asked, where is your land title? They said that we were here for last 500 years, but now you're asking us the patal land, the paper. They cannot provide, so that they are displaced, and they are not given and the rehabilitation and resettlement. So development without consent just is not in progress. And the tribal society today, whatever you can find it out, PBTGS and rest of the world you can find it out, that the scheduled tribe in India, they are constitutionally recognized. They are protected under laws, protected under schedules, protected under policy. But unfortunately, they are only on paper in many times, but vulnerability is there in reality. Because there is the twist contradiction is that what exactly you want to offer them, they don't want to take, or the implementation gap is there. But at the same time, they have their own way of understanding the world that we are not catching up. So law, policy, program is not important, but the dignity and their life is more important. So the poverty persists, health gap remain, educational inequality continues. The nomadic and denotified communities, that there are some communities, some 15 crores peoples are there, the nomadic people, denotified tribals, and semi-nomadic peoples are there in India. But who are they? What exactly they are doing? Nobody is going to structure that. Nobody even have a custody on them. So say, for example, that I'm talking about here, the communities such as Banjara and Gadhi Lohar were trader and artisan long before modern supply chain. But the mobility was criminalized under the colonial law. Even today, the mobility is administratively inconvenient, because modern system asks the permanent address, fixed occupation, utility bill. So you don't have your identity proof, then facility is not given to you. So in this way, no address, no document, no welfare is underdeveloped. And these people basically globally, the same people also, you can Roma, you can find it out in European country. They also, the Bhagavan people, they're moving here and there, and they are not taken care of, but they have their wisdom. The Iceland community is basically Andaman Island, you can find it out. You see, all Isle, Maldives, you can go. Elsewhere you go to that, you can find it out. This small society, they have a rich natural knowledge. Everything they have. But unfortunately, what exactly is that when something happens, like a global warming is there, climate change is there, this is the people who are the worst victim of it. They are not going to contribute anything for the pollution of the world. but they face the problem. In Andaman Islander, you can find it out. There is sea rise level is there. So always there is a flood, and the people are sufferer. These people are the worst sufferer of it, because not because of their contribution to the pollution, but because of industrialization and the related climate change and everything is happening over there. So again, we are even not listening to them. What exactly they want? We want to impose on them our policy and program. So there is a linguistic and ethnic minorities are there. What exactly they have their own language and the dialect. You know, there are some 7,000 dialects and languages there throughout the world, and almost 4,000 already in danger. In India, we can find it out. There are a lot of dialect is there, and we are imposing our state language, or we are imposing our own mainstream languages, maybe English and Hindi. So in this basis, what is happening? The oral history, ecological knowledge, medical system, and world views, what exactly the language and dialect, the tribals and the indigenous people they used to have, that is losing. You know, one dialect means one library. Lot of knowledge, not simply an alphabet. It is something, you know, a lot of knowledge related to the nature, related to the world views. But once exactly people are losing their dialogue, that means that memory and tradition, everything is losing. In 21st century, that homogeneous language and vernacular language that imposing on them, that is creating a lot of problem. That you have to think about it. Then it's now, let us talk about here how the structural mechanism of marginalization of this community is happening. Basically, small communities, how exactly they are undergoing that. First thing is that, very importantly, market incorporation without protection. There is a market, and everybody is invited to participate like a supply and demand rules. But now these small communities are invited to the global market. So now this market, when they are going to participate, they cannot have that protection. They cannot have security. So they have a problem on that. They have an administrative assimilation. Administrative assimilation in the sense that we want to have the unification of these people through our policies and program. We want to treat each and everybody, all citizens, an equal front, but the diversity, the policy is not going to see in that way. Then when the climate is going to happen, the climate collapse is going to happen, then exactly this is the people, they are going to be victimized more. But when the benefit is there because of industrialization, all capitalistic thing is happening, that is what exactly go to the people who want to take a benefit. Whole big society, they want to take a benefit. But the first problem when it will be coming, then these people are the victimized. Three possible future that I'll shortcut and tell like that. What should be the sustainable future for sociologists to think about and how exactly is happening? One is assimilative modernity. Assimilative modernity in the sense that the modernity, what you talk about today, it is not integrating, it is not isolating, it is assimilating the people. Then when it is going to have assimilate everybody, then what actually is going to have the problem? Because when assimilate everybody, then you're losing your identity and you don't have anything else to do like that. So here, integrative modernity is very important rather than the assimilative modernity. That sociologists must think about it. And there is a persistent marginalization is going on because everything, health, education, everywhere you talk about, all small community, they have a problem. And they are not exactly, they are not going to enjoy that, are not going to have that equal footing. For say, for example, education is not accepted by them or reachable to them because of their language problem, because of their culture. That is what exactly to think about. And the sustainable future will be the future when if you teach them the education in their own language, then the real knowledge will come out. And the knowledge, whatever you're going to teach, then the knowledge should be to their culture and tradition and society, not something else. Then another thing is a transformative sustainability, which is very important, because transformative sustainability, I want to say is that you say who exactly want to have what exactly? Basically for sustainable development. Who will exactly implement and who will exactly really develop the sustainable development of the entire society in 21st century? Is it a government, or talk about national, international, or the world global government? Or is it a corporation? Is it something like NGO and civil society? It is something like a capitalist? Who exactly? You know, the real people is that will just go down to the small society. They have that sustainable lifestyle, the culture and tradition. If you listen to them, then only you can save the world. Otherwise, it's very difficult to save the world. In this way, that I want to say is that, जे आपण माने देखिथिबे गोटे रैट, प्रकृत रैट गोटे स्नेक रैट को खाउछ, स्नेक को पिकक खाउछ. सेमती जदि आमे कहिबा तापरे लायन बुल को खाउछ, किंतु समस्ते गोटे जगह मिसिकी रहउछन. कार एग्जांपल मु दउछि, मु लॉर्ड शिवंकर एग्जांपल दउछि. गोटे जगह रे एवरीबडी इज इन ए वन प्लेस, वन फैमिली, इको फैमिली, where exactly rat is eaten by snake, snake is eaten by peacock, bull is eaten by the lion, but all live together in one family. That is the eco family. That is the eco family. And this, the same tradition, you can find it out in the small society. They know they respect river, respect the tree, they worship the ancestor, they live together. Even, you know, when the Lord Shiva is having his head, then the river is also falling on that head. And also you talk about that he is also going to cremation ground. Bhuto, preto, manko soite mate se rahibako chahunchandi. This is what exactly I am going to trying to talk to all of you, is that after globalization, what will come? After globalization, tradition, modernity, post-modernity, liberalization, privatization, globalization. What will come next? The term naturalization will come. The next term, I am sure, naturalization will come, because we will go back to the nature now. If we will not go back to the nature, then everything will be finished. And that's what exactly Lord Shiva's eco-family culture. Where exactly you can find it out that something is symbolizes everybody is killing to each other, everybody is a prey to each other, but they live together. That is what is the lesson from the small society, small community in 21st century. Not this Wi-Fiization, not this WhatsAppization, nothing like that. What exactly technology is talking about? More technology, more problem will be there. And one other thing is very important, is that what exactly you can find it out. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is talking about that. Liberty, equality, and fraternity. You know, the tribal indigenous population, when they are moving in a jungle, they are free. Nobody is going to stop them. Liberty is there. And they are equal. Not only they equal with their another group, they are equal with nature. They equal with forest, river, everything. Then another important thing they are talking about, that sociologists must think about it, fraternity. Jodi apona mane gotte jagare rahibe, freely bulibe, equal bhavare treat karbe, kintu bandhuta nothibo, fraternity nothibo, tahale aponankar society agaku chalibo nahi. And today is the crisis, is that, you know, we never believe in fraternity. That brotherhoodness is not there. We say they are the small society, they are the small community, they are the small people. We are the big people, we are highly qualified people, we are technology oriented people. And technology is dividing us in that way. But where is the fraternity? We are not having a fraternity. So here exactly that the 21st century, the society that you are talking about must believe in fraternity. But unfortunately, the society is being treated as just like a liberty or equality, but it is missing the fraternity. So B.R. Ambedkar, whatever is talking about, three things put together is very important, and that also you can learn from the tribal society. And now let me talk about here Alfred Skou's, the 5 world we all live in our experiences. The experience is what exactly? What exactly I'm having with my own thinking. My inner world is there. My inner world is what exactly? What I watch, what I eat, what I feel, what I do. But you talk about small societies inner world. They live with the nature. They live with the land. They are very connected with the forest. Their thinking, feelings, their understanding, everything generated from the nature. So naturalization from them is very important. Then again you talk about here is that, everyday life, when you are interacting with your educational institution, we are interacting with the state, polity, market, your society, then when you are having a face-to-face interaction, you sharing the space and also the people. So then how exactly things is happening now? Today, Wi-Fiization is going on. Today, what exactly this WhatsAppization is going on. We are not interacting to each others. We only interact on the mobile phone. What type of society is now coming? If there is no interaction, there is no human face-to-face interaction, what kind of life you are going to have it? It's a one-way. Traffic is going on. So real human being, we are living in a hyper world. The world exactly, the shadow is there, not reality. Shadow is more important than the reality. So in this way, what exactly, again, if you talk about the small society, they do believe in that type of lifestyle, where exactly every day they interact. Human being is made of blood and flesh, like a human interaction, they want to have a lived ecology. They want to have an interaction with the everyday face-to-face interaction. That is today's missing. So 21st century would think about it. And the next what exactly is very important things is that today's world is live in a present, forget about the past. Alfred Scores is talking about the world. What exactly the past? The memory that you are having, precedent you are having, your forefather, your generation, what they have given to us. Now this small society pass the same things from generation to generation, so that they link together. What a trees, here there are some tribals in India, they got married to each other. Witness is a tree. Tree is a witness. That means what exactly it is? And that time, and also when somebody is taking birth, then the same person has come in the name of some grandfather and grandmother. So they treat equally. So this is what exactly natural reality. It's not a mythology. It's not something, what exactly you have not seen. Instead of going to a religious space, they directly go to the tree and they worship there, because the direct interaction is there with the nature. Then another thing is what exactly? Also they think about the future. Alfred Schultz talking about the future, the world of future. That means what exactly is going to happen? Today's debate and discussion is that the 21st century, what exactly the sociologist going to think about the structure, inequality and sustainable future. See, they are basically the small society. They are always linked with something, livable, something seeable, something hearable, something what exactly watchable, observable. And that's what exactly they link to the future. But we have not seen anything, but honestly, scientifically some proof is there, and we think about that this thing is going to happen. The people, those who really want to do something, we are displacing them. We are not respecting them. We are telling them they are the backward. So this, when you talk about this, the world of reality, the experience, that what exactly you want to have, then directly you have to go to the hamlet where exactly the people are there. They have a subsistence economy. The market economy is really spoiling their agency, really spoiling what exactly they want to convey to the rest of the world. So this is what exactly today's seminar. The technology is one hand and the structure is another one. There is a dialectical relationship But in between, no, the real people, those who are living with the society, linked to the nature, is missing. They are not visible. How to make them visible is very important. So really, I'm thanks that such a nice topic, and I have a really big paper to present, but because of such short time that I'm not going to present, but really this is the message what exactly we need to have. Then one thing I want to talk about, life is a pleasure. Life is a pleasure, great with a smile. Your love toward the nature, like Ma Manikeshwari, is a great treasurer. Keep it all the time. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Garoda, for such an intriguing lecture. And we also apologize that we are running against the time, so we had to sort of deviate from the original schedule. Now it's time that we listen from our chief guest, Sri Sanjay Kumar Das. Sir, I request you to address the gathering.
Thank you. It is an honor to be present here, and I thank the organizer, Vice Chancellor, Registrar, and my honored guest who has come from Germany and Netherlands. And thank you all for participants. Initially I thought I'll prepare some notes and give a lecture here, but I decided that, let me talk from the heart rather than following a script. Sociology. If you are in a society, you don't have to be a sociologist. You can feel the divide today, like my predecessors, they are talking about divide in the society, the discrimination. So in our society, if we look around, we can feel the gap. We can see the gap. Today's digital society, there is a great divide. Like, to understand the society, we need to go back. Like initially, like if you think of our society was more like agricultural society. And then came the mechanical society, the industrialization. And later the digitization, which is more like the information technology we call. Now, information technology and digital technology, it has not started overnight. Almost 200 years ago, Charles Babbage, he was thinking about creating a device, a machine, which today we call computer. Charles Babbage in 1820s, he gave the idea, the blueprint, how a computer will function, how it will look, but he was never able to create one. But towards after the World War II, during that time, there was more need for computational power. So the first generation computer was created. And after that, almost every decade, the technology progressed. Then the second generation came, third generation came, and the fourth generation, which started towards the 1971. And myself being a IT professional, I have seen from the third generation computers to the present day. Now, when the digital society started, it is towards the 90s, like 1990s, computer and internet got married. At that time, the communication became very quick. You can connect with people anywhere within fraction of a second. So that has influenced all of our life. So when we talk about first generation computer, which was like a vacuum tube, so vacuum tube to YouTube, the today's social media we use, it has gone through a serious change. Now, in the digital divide, we see what is the benefit of this. Is there only benefit, or there is also disadvantage to the society? The benefits are definitely many, because today we have connected the societies. At the same time, we are apart. So we are hyper connected. Like if you are in a social media, probably you have hundreds of friends. But do you have a real friend? So that is important. Even if we are hyper connected, we are far apart. So that is the challenge. Challenge of this digital society is mental health. Mental health has become an epidemic, not only in America, it is anywhere in the world. Mental health is a big problem. Now, as our keynote speaker, he was saying how the society are connected naturally, how our local communities, they're connected naturally. So I will just go probably in the little bit of an ancient civilization or our cultural civilization. Like during the Ramayana time, Ram was sent to forest, right? And he was very upset. Then during his exile into the forest, he went to Rishi Vasishta. And Vasishta advised him on various topics, including sociology, psychology. And, Yoga Vasishta is one of the scriptures which talks about psychosomatic disorders. It is, modern science talk about psychosomatic disorder way back in the Treta Yuga, which is probably 3,000 years ago. Rishi Vasishta, he gave us the very well-defined scripture about psychology. So there he has said a couple of things. How mental stress becomes physical disease, which, adhi to badhi. Adhi means mental stress, and badhi is the physical display of disease. So if we do not treat the mental stress, it will be manifested as a disease over time. Similarly, if you again go back, Patanjali, another Rishi, Patanjali Yoga Sutra, if you have heard about Rishi Patanjali, that was 2nd century BCE. Patanjali, he did not, he was not the creator of yoga or anything, but he compiled all the knowledges available at that time on yoga, on healthcare, and then he created a sutra or a book, or we can call it as a manual, Patanjali Yoga Sutra. There he is talking about a life appropriate the society, which is even valid today. Patanjali talked about how to avoid diseases. Like if a disease has not happened, how we should prevent it. So that was the Patanjali Yoga Sutra talked about avoiding diseases. Like the sutra says, Heyam Duksham Anagatam. So basically, Patanjali, imagine today we are saying prevention is better than cure, right? But Patanjali, 3000 years ago, he has given us the sutra, Heyam Duksham Anagatam. That literally means some disease which has not happened to us, we must avoid that. So if you go back to like Rishi, Vasishtha, then Patanjali, all have given us the scriptures where all the knowledge is available. But somehow we have deviated. We have adopted modern science, we have adopted, nothing wrong in that. But at the same time, we must not forget our roots. We should explore what our rishis have given us. Now, Patanjali, you all know about yoga, right? So yoga is misinterpreted in many ways. I don't want to go deep into it because we have time constraints. I just want to touch upon few things. Patanjali gave us Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga means there are, generally when you say yoga, people think it is physical exercise. Somebody will think it is just deep breathing. Somebody thinks it is for Hindus. Somebody will think, no, it is for, yogis or tantrics. Those are not the right definition. Yoga is not specific to any person or any religion. It is a universal manual for a ethical living. So, Patanjali Ashtanga Yoga, the first Ashtanga means 8 limbs or 8 different parts. First one is Jama. Jama means it is the ethical living in a society. So there is sociology involved. It is not just something specific to any religious group. So how do we live ethically in a society? That is advised by Patanjali. Then next one is Niyama. Niyama is your individual rules that you should follow. So then asana. Asana is the physical. Once you are close to the society, once you understand how to live in a society, then your physical fitness is important. Physical fitness is through asana, then the pranayama, which is the mental fitness. So physical, mental, then comes the spiritual fitness, which comes from your dhyana. Similarly, there are other aspects which Patanjali talk about is samadhi as well as pratyahar and dharana. So those concepts are very important and they combinedly called yoga. It is not just asana or pranayama. So how are we going on time? 2-3 minutes. Okay. So that is the Patanjali part. And now, again, we can always try to correlate our, scriptures with the modern thought process. There is no harm in that. The last thing I would like to share is health. They also talked about the nutrition. So one is your physical part, mental part, and health and nutrition. For example, World Health Organization, they define health as a state of complete, a state of complete well-being, physical, mental, and social. See, society is involved there. But our scriptures, they go one step beyond that. They say Actual health is physical, mental, social, and spiritual. So our scripture is not just, it is a scripture written by somebody. It has validity, scientific validity in today's world. Similarly, the nutrition, they talk about nutrition. We see a lot of lifestyle diseases, right? Diabetes, every other person has diabetes, heart attack. The other day I met a friend. He said in their office, in one day, two 30-year-old had a heart attack and died on the floor. And they have stopped. Earlier, if somebody used to die, they used to send an email, saying, we are sorry to say this. Now they have stopped because the death rate is so high in an organization. They have stopped even sending email out to the employees. So these lifestyle diseases are killing a lot of people all over the world. So in that, even like modern science definitely has a lot of guidelines, but I want to take all of you back to those olden scripture where they talked about mitahar. Mitahar means you have to eat nutritional food, but you eat only half of what you should, like half of your stomach. Like if you think of a circle, 50% of fresh food you should eat, 1/4 you should drink water, and another 1/4 you should keep empty. And they talk about what kind of food you'll eat. So they have categorized them as gunas: Swatik, Rajasic, and Tamasic. Swatik means this is the purest form of food, mostly vegetarian. Rajasic means more, the meat lovers or the spicy foods. Tamasic means the poorest quality food. So all these knowledges are available in our scriptures. We need to explore those and see how we can imbibe in our day-to-day life. So with that, I'd like to thank you all and all the best for this seminar.
Mr. Das, thank you so much for those words. As I thank you, let me also say that you are not only an IT professional and working in successful startups in US and India, but you are a person with strong philanthropic orientation and expertise in yoga. Thank you for being with us here, and we are grateful. We are obliged for your presence and the ideas that you have shared with us. If I may say, next that we have is, it's more of a shift of gears, little bit of going to be an interactive session, as Professor Peter would like it to be. So, as I don't want to say it again, but we are running against the time. So, Professor Peter and Roland, whom I have known for last 2 years, and it is through their generous benevolence that I could visit Germany last year for a summer school, and I've been always in conversation and contact, sharing ideas about Adivasis and research in general. And I must say, Professor Peter, Roland, we are grateful, and also we must also acknowledge that our location is such that it's often very difficult to get faculties or a research person in person ordinarily for seminars, lectures, and that makes it special that you could make it here and participate in this conference. Briefly, I'll read out short bio, though they have not given me any formal bio to introduce them. They just send me the university website, so I just separated prepared some, so they would like to introduce themselves. So Professor Roland, as already been mentioned, is Professor of Social and Cultural Anthropology at Goethe University, Frankfurt, Germany, and Director of the Provenius Institute for Cultural Anthropological Research, so which is one of the Europeans' leading institution for ethnographic and comparative anthropological scholarship. Uh, Professor Roland studied anthropology, history, political science, South Asian study at the University of Münster, Berlin, and Oxford. He received his PhD from Free University of Berlin in 1998 with a dissertation on renewal, which of deities of Jagannath, based on 14 months of ethnographic fieldwork in Puri, Odisha, India. Maybe just cutting it short, Professor Roland has produced, based on his long engagement in fields, so his ethnographic fields, sites, or the regions are sort of India, which is Odisha, Kyrgyzstan, and he studies Iran and Spain. Professor Roland has produced influential scholarship on ritual economy, social cultural values, and indigenous societies, including major monographs, The Renewal of Jagannath's Body, Ritual and Society in Odisha, 2011, and Children of the Earth Goddess, Society, Marriage, and Sacrifice in the Highlands of Odisha, 2018. In addition to research and teaching, he is co-editor of the journal Paidema. I know I'm messing with the pronunciation. Is also a reflection of a significant role in shaping contemporary cultural anthropology. So this is about Professor Roland. Let me also briefly introduce Professor Peter. Professor Peter is Associate Professor of Indian Religions and Anthropology of Religion at the Faculty of Religion, Culture, and Society, University of Religion, South Asian Studies, with a strong regional focus in Odisha, particularly among the Adivasis, the southern part of Odisha. Trained in ethnology, sociology, religious studies, he completed his PhD at Free University, Berlin, with a dissertation on ritual and society in highland Odisha, reflecting his long-term ethnographic engagement with indigenous communities in India. He has published widely on ritual systems, conversion, agriculture, and indigenous life worlds, including major work such as Feeding, Sharing, and Devouring, Ritual and Society in Highland Odisha, 2015, and Subaltern Sovereign, 2023, so which will be the basis of this, the upcoming presentation, which Professor Peter will present. With this brief note, I would like to request Professor Peter to do the presentation. Thank you so much.
Namaskar, Sabuku. It is actually a great pleasure to be here, and I want to thank those who have organized this wonderful seminar at the beginning. The Vice Chancellor, Dr. Nivedita, thank you very much. Well, it's so great to see you after all those years. And the head of the department, Dr. Suna, and also Mr. Gumango, who also, I think, took a lion's share of organizing this event here. It is great to be here. Actually, I don't need my PowerPoint presentation. This is a very special personal occasion for me also. It is a kind of anniversary for me because it is exactly 30 years ago that I came to Odisha for the first time when I was still a student in 1996. And over 30 years, I have been interacting and working in Odisha, which became a kind of second home for me and also for Professor Hardenberg, who he will talk about himself as well. I just want to raise 2 points, 2 short points. One is about cooperation. I just mentioned how happy I am that I meet Nivedita Rat after all these years. Working in Odisha for 30 years means you made many friends. And over the last 3 weeks, we met very old friends. For instance, Professor Kumar Nayak, who was head of the department at Utkal University of the Anthropology Department, and Deepak Kumar Behera, who was vice chancellor in Sambalpur and in Berampur. So you met old friends, you met friends and colleagues you know for about 2 years, like Aswino Gomango. You make new friends. And those collaborations last over the decades. And sometimes you don't know when you start. I think this is so rich. This is one of the great privileges to be an academic and to come to India for so many years, to be able to build on those relationships. And I really profit a lot, not only academically, but also personally. And I would also like to address the young people in the audience and the student in particular, because you may think, oh, this is all very far away, but mind you, with the blink of an eye, you're 55 and you look back at a career in some discipline. So building networks is very important. And for the next 2 days in the seminar, I look very much forward to engaging with you, to hear your ideas. So please reach out to me, reach out to Roland Hardenberg if you're interested in collaboration together, and we can build something for the future. The second point I would like to mention is ethnographic research, and that actually also builds on what our keynote speaker has been saying. Many of us, many of you work with Adivasi communities. I worked on and with Adivasi communities all my academic life for 30 years. I did almost 2 years of ethnographic research with the Gutop-speaking Gadaba of Koraput. My area of research has been Koraput. I don't have to introduce that district to you. And I have been actually also revisiting again and again. That means also there, I have seen how young boys and girls grow up and found families themselves. So I think when you engage with sociological, anthropological studies, as our keynote speaker said, it is very important to have a long-term, deep and thorough engagement on eye level. So not this top-down approach as a researcher coming from the outside, doing a few interviews and writing a book, but rather engaging, becoming part of their regular life, and only then you can actually understand what it means to be a member of a certain culture. So those were my 2 points I would like to raise. I'm very much looking forward to interacting with you over the next 2 days, listening to your presentations. I know that some of you work on Adivasi education. This is a topic we are very much interested in at the moment. We will discuss some of our work on our project on serial cultures by watching the documentary film in the afternoon. So I hope I will see many of you there. Namaskar. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Peter. I remember the first email that I dropped you. I said, Professor Peter, you have 90 minutes for the lecture. And after a few days, I said, no, maybe we'll do it 60 minutes. And when there is 2 days back, Professor Peter, it's 45 minutes. And maybe, yes, so that's a reality. Maybe the elaborate discussion will be at 4 p.m. when we have screening of the documentary. This is where they will be sharing their wealth of experience as researchers, ethnographers. So we look forward to see you there. Now I would like to request Professor Roland Hardenberg to share his ideas.
So from my side, namaskar, or as the Adivasi say, jua. As usual, I would like to start my talk with my words of appreciation, and I must say they really come from my heart, especially to your Vice Chancellor, Dr. Nivedita Nath. She already mentioned that we have a very long-term acquaintanceship, and I calculated it. It's exactly 27 years that we first met at Utkal University, and she already said that I was a lecturer at that time in Sambalpur University, and she, as I remember, was the most sincere and best student I had in anthropology at that time in Sambalpur University, and it really makes me so happy that she's now here sitting as your Vice Chancellor and knowing her abilities and seeing how hard she is working since we are here. Every minute she is engaged in something. I know that your university is in very good hands. Thank you, Nivedita. Of course, also my thanks go to the persons who invited us, Dr. Suna, whom I met for the first time, I think yesterday on the campus cricket ground. So we only had a brief meeting, and I hope we will discuss our joint topics more in the future, but thanks for formally inviting us. That helped a lot. And last but not least, of course, Ashwino Gomango, who introduced me so nicely, and he already shared with you that we met first time 2 years ago, because every year almost, for the last, I don't know, 10 years or so, we have been organizing a winter school at IITD. And 2 years ago, he was invited as a guest fellow. And from then on, we continued our cooperation, and we invited him last year to Germany and to a summer school in Austria, as mentioned. And I see that he can prosper in this wonderful university, and I wish this also to many of you students. Some of you, hopefully, in a sustainable future, will sit on this side of the dice one day, so please keep on going. You have very good examples here in this university. I also, of course, express my thanks to the many colleagues, delegates, students I'm going to meet. I have just recently met here at the university. I don't know all your individual names, but we have 2 days now to start, as Professor Berger said, our cooperation. I would like to start my talk with an homage to our professor, Peter and my professor. His name was Professor Georg Pfeffer. If you have not heard of him, please Google him. He died, unfortunately, he expired 20th May 2020, and he is renowned for doing field work in India for more than 30 to 40 years. He was our professor at the Free University in Berlin, where he introduced us to anthropology. What made him so special was his background. He grew up as a German in Pakistan, in Lahore. And so he was introduced to South Asian culture during his youth. His father was a professor of sociology who founded the institute in Lahore. When he had grown up, he decided to become an anthropologist, and his PhD was again in Pakistan on the Chamar community, on the sweepers of that city. After that, he came to India and he studied just the opposite, so to say, in the social hierarchy of South Asia. He began to study the Brahmins of Puri here in Odisha, the so-called Shasan Brahmins, the highest Vaidika Brahmins of this country here. You probably have heard about the 16 villages of the high Brahmins who sit on the Mukti Mandap of Lord Jagannath, the Shasan Brahmins, the solar Shasan Brahmins. That was as part of the so-called Orissa Research Project 1, which brought many Germans to Odisha, and one of them you have probably heard about, Hermann Kuhlke and Goya Charan Tripathi. One was historian, the other Sanskritist. They worked here for more than 10 years, and in a way, Peter and I are a product of these teachers. When I came to India for the first time in 1995, I did somehow the same as these scholars who had studied the coastal region of Odisha. So I began my research in Puri on the Jagannath temple and the Gajapati Maharaj of Puri. And when I came in 1995, I suddenly heard, oh, Nabakalebara hebo, Asanta Bossa Nabakalebara hebo, Mukichi Janinotili Nabakalebara kono hai. So, so I became interested in what Navakalevara is, and I decided to write my PhD on it. And why was that? The reason was, you know, we as Bideshi Loko, as non-Hindus, we cannot enter the Jagannath temple. So it was very difficult for me to, as he said, do deep ethnographic work within the temple. But Navakalevara also happens outside the temple because, as you know, the Doita and the Pati, they go in search for the Charidaru, which will become the new images of Jagannath. That was my PhD, and at that time, the second so-called German Orissa project began. And my colleague and friend and co-student, Professor Peter Berger, at that time joined this second Odisha project. And that this time was not on coastal Odisha, but on the connections with the Adivasi, with the highlands of Orissa, the Eastern Ghat area. So all of us somehow then shifted from coastal Odisha to Kalahandi, to Raigada, and like him to Koraput. And at that time, I joined this project, and my target, so to say, my aim was to learn more about the Dongria Kont. And our professor had introduced us to important people. He already mentioned them, and I would also express my homage to them. One was Professor Prasanna Kumar Nayak, whom we met recently. He was head of Department of Anthropology at Utkal University at that time. And he, to my knowledge, was the first one who did really intensive, long-term, in-depth research on the Dongria Kont. The name of his book is Blood, Woman, and Territory. And if you have not read that, please, the students, go into it. It's really a fantastic work. The second one was Deepak Kumar Behera. He's also the teacher of your esteemed Vice Chancellor. He's also our teacher. We also recently met him, and he was the second person who introduced us. And the third one who actually went from Sambalpur in our car, the third one, from Sambalpur to Koraput was S.N. Rotter. So these were the ones who introduced us to Koraput and Raigada, and I finally stayed 16 months with the Dongria Khond in the Nyamgiri Hills, and out of this, a book was produced by me. You mentioned it. It's called Children of the Earth Goddess. Maybe if you're interested, you have a look into that as well. I also now come to an end. I could talk a little bit more about this, but as Professor Berger said, I would also like to emphasize again that all this work only is possible when we have a kind of reciprocal, as you mentioned it, and collaborative research. And I thank you all in this room here for either helping us in the past and perhaps contributing to our joint work in the future. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Professor Roland. And maybe for sociologists and anthropologists are aware the kind of research that was undertaken by the German, the professors, and in a way, as I write my thesis, I found those are kind of foundational texts that in a anthropological sense, the series of books are 10, number of series of books, is it 10 volumes? Is it 10 or 11? Yeah, as a result of the, 10 to 12 volumes of book has been produced as a result of the German professor, researchers based in Odisha for last 30 years. I'm sure there are many things to share. As I said, the wealth of experience, so due to lack of time, maybe we hear them in the afternoon at 4 p.m. Okay. So we come to the end of this inaugural session. Now I would like to request my colleague, Dr. Piraranjan Behera, to propose the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, one and all present here. Formally, we have come to an end the inaugural session. Then next we are having a panel discussion. From our side, Department of Sociology, we have tried our best to collect the best brain from international and national as well as state level to discuss and deliver to the Mamaniksheri student. For this, first, I express my gratitude toward our Vice Chancellor Ma'am, Dr. Nivedita Nath, for umbrella guidance and all kind of support, as Ma'am has highlighted. Simultaneously, academically, non-academically, many events, programs are going on, taking place in Mamaniksheri University. This is one of them. Thank you, Madam, for providing all kind of support to make international seminar more fruitful, knowledge-based, and successful. Okay, actually, due to technical issues, we are in between a little disturbance, but Dr. Professor Dipti Ranjan Sahu, President, Indian Sociological Society, is online. Will be deliver the vote of thanks later. Before that, I request Osin sir.
Now, Sorry for the sort of deviation. Now we have Professor Dipti Ranjan Behera, the President of Indian Sociological Society, joining us. Dipti Ranjan Sahu. Sorry. Sir, I hope you could hear us. Yes, you are perfectly audible. There is a slightly echo, maybe that we need to sort out. Yes, Professor Dipti, now it's perfect. I think you could start. Thank you. Yes, Professor Dipti, you are audible. Please start.
Find that one side we are all interested in rapid economic growth, fast expansion, and also there are also widening inequalities. And in this context, we all have been witnessing how there are a lot of crises, particularly with reference to climate, with reference to ecology, as 100 years back. Professor Radhakrishnan Mukherjee from University of Lucknow was one of the founding founders of the So from that point of view, if you look at this crisis and kind of ecological stress, then we also have another process where we can say that as a student of sociology, the academic, we are also saying that structure is producing and reproducing inequality. And in that case, we have example of digital transformation at one point of time in the contemporary India, and at the same time, we also have been finding some of the sites of exclusion and some of the aspects of exclusion and exclusionary practices are also there. And being also a student of social movement, I have been also looking at a lot of contemporary challenges, particularly in the context of structure and the inequality and the sustainability, where identity politics and social movements are on the rise. So the whole idea, if you want to see in the context of Indian society and particularly from a sociological perspective, I would rather suggest that democracy can only be the foundational principle of social science. And if the democracy is the foundation of how this principle of society. Some of our classical sociologists have, contributed immensely in the context of class interface, in the context of contemporary inequalities, and in the context of the present concern is about the accumulation of wealth, particularly if you look at, and how the kind of informalization of labor, particularly, and the kind of gig economy. Then we also, since the university is a place where you find Manifesto University, where you find a lot of marginalities with regard to the Dalit and Adivasis. But at the same time, we also are confronting the issue of digital divide. So, to the best of our understanding for the young scholars, as we all know, inequality is multidimensional and also intersectional. So, for my understanding and for all of your understanding, we should be more concerned about the ecological crisis, particularly how this climate and climate change, if you inequality and ecological crisis also has some reflections on, and it also mirrors social hierarchy. And if you look at the contemporary Indian society, particularly from the development versus sustainability, one side is a growth model that we all know, that GDP-centric, capital-intensive, extractive, at the same time, as a social science student, as a community specialist, we are concerned about the equity and the ecological balance. Intergenerational justice. And in this context, I would suggest that the culture of voice is more important in addressing and articulating these issues of the kind of deprivation, in the issues of kind of exclusion, particularly the environmental struggles, Dalit assertions, tribal resistance, and farmers' mobilization, and also we have been witnessing in contemporary India, particularly women-led ecological initiatives. So there are many issues. I would have been very privileged to be part of this particular international conference, but I would suggest that by with this kind of dialogue, with this kind of conferences, what we have to be more context-specific. Studies are more important in the context of evidence-based research, so that this can also inform the policy. And it can also influence the policy instruments, particularly in the context of ecological governance, with community participations. And since Manikeshwari and the Odisha has been the site of many voices, particularly there is a culture of voice that's very important. If you look at in the eastern part of India, Odisha has been the site of various people's movement, and they have been successful. So in this context, I would suggest that inequality, to conclude, I will suggest that inequality in contemporary India is still structurally produced and reproduced. This is more important. And if you look at this sustainability from a sociological point of view, then we must also dismantle, deconstruct caste, class, and gender hierarchies, and also the kind of ecological justice or climate justice depends on social transformation. And in that case, I would suggest that sustainable India is still in distant dream. And for that, we need to have a kind of, the final process is that we have to be an organic intellectual, those who can represent the concerns, voices, and wisdom of the community to whom we study should be presented as it is in the public domain. And in that case, the most important point is India moving towards inclusive sustainability or a kind of a unequal growth? I'm sure many of the studies, many of the present papers must be also dealing with these things. And on behalf of Indian Sociological Society, I congratulate Dr. Biren Suna and all the faculty members and all the university officials for inviting me for a small reflections, though it was I was supposed to be there in person, but I'm sorry because of my some engagements, I could not be part of it. It is a loss of mine, and I again thank you for giving me time, and look forward to future academic interactions. Thank you so much.
Professor Dipti, thank you so much. And we sincerely apologize for those technical glitch that we could not bring you up on time. But let me also take this opportunity to say thank you. And also on behalf of sociology fraternity here, we congratulate you on your presidential tenure as President of Indian Sociological Society, and we wish you best and do great things. Thank you so much. To Dr. Sumedha, please continue to join us. My colleague, Dr. Priyaranjan, will propose vote of thanks for the previous inaugural session, and then you will have an opportunity to address students and colleagues here. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashwini sir. Actually, due to time constraint, it's difficult to name all.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Dr. Sumedha, we could hear you, but 2 minutes, give us 2 minutes. My colleague, Dr. Priya, will propose vote of thanks.
Can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes.
Can I share my presentation, or what do you prefer, like just to give my talk, or I have prepared a presentation? Can I share that?
Dr. Sumedha, give us 2 minutes, then you could share your PPT.
Yes.
Okay. Actually, technology sometimes very helpful, but same time, due to glitches, it's a problematic. But anyway, I have only 1 minute time to express my gratitude and vote of thanks. So I express my gratitude, vote of thanks on the behalf of Department of Sociology, Manikeshwari University, to all the dignitaries sitting on the front and all the dignitary paper presenter sitting on the as a audience and listening to today's international seminar to make the inaugural session as well as next forthcoming session more knowledge-based, fruitful, and thought-provoking. Once again, thank you to one and all present here, directly or indirectly connected to this seminar. Thank you.
Dr. Sumedha, now you could upload your PPT and...
Shall I share my presentation now?
Sure. Sure, you could.
Dr. Sumedha, you could start.
Can you see the presentation now? Can you see the screen?
Could you maximize it?
The cursor is not working.
Maybe you could draw.
Yeah, can someone manage it? I can see a green spot there, but my cursor is not working.
Dr. Sumedha, it is visible. The slide is visible. You can go ahead.
Sorry?
Please go ahead. Maybe could you do without repeating?
Without the presentation, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Sorry for that. I don't know how to handle the technical issue. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for the invitation to be a part of this panel. Actually, my reflections today come from my PhD research that I explored the lived experiences of disability, masculinity and sexuality of disabled war veterans in Sri Lanka, which is a topic that remains deeply sensitive and often silent in Sri Lanka, hopefully in India as well. So I'm Kumudu, I'm a senior lecturer, University of Kelaniya, Sri Lanka. So I was working with the socially marginalized minority, the disabled people, and also speaking another taboo that is sexuality. And also my participants are war veterans, so it is another concern. And because of this double silence, the conventional research methods and also the ethics were not always like to follow the proper ethical procedures were not always possible. So that doesn't mean I didn't follow ethics. I thoroughly follow ethics, but you know, in when you're using ethnographic tools for data collection and while you're working with the community, it's difficult to, you know, follow a typical ethical procedures. But as a responsible researcher, I was like very strict to protecting ethics. And today, actually, I will briefly share the methodological challenges and encounter that encountered by myself as a female researcher, and the methodological innovations that I have adopted. So it's I will not actually talk about the specific detail of my research findings, but with align with the theme of this conference, which is marginalized communities and as well as methodological innovations. I thought of sharing my experience as a female researcher interviewing men where discussing sexuality is a taboo. So let me give you a very brief idea of the context of my study. Especially war is one of the main factors in which people in Sri Lanka become disabled. So as many of you know, there was a 26-year long civil war in Sri Lanka, like people also identified as a protracted armed conflict between the Sri Lankan government and the LTTE. Then actually, so this particular time period, nearly 3 decades, made people got very much statistically it was huge, the damage, especially there were like 100,000 civilians deaths and also 900,000 displacements. And with particular to the disabled veterans, actually the soldiers number 23,812 according to Sri Lanka Army statistics. So especially actually, so this situation was really important for me because I was born in early 80s, so then I experienced war. Then that particular situation, like people getting displaced and also disabled, so that makes me interested to study about disabled veterans, especially. So when it comes to the Sri Lankan situation, so military men who are disabled from war must not only negotiate their new identity as disabled people, but also reckon with the exaggerated militarized discourses about masculinity that they generally adopted before experiencing disability. So, especially as a result of war, the government war propagandas, so the Sri Lankan army especially, so they had this war hero identity and also hypermasculine and hypersexual identity in the society. So veterans post-injury experiences of disability, masculinity and sexuality are linked to social and political discourses that had once situated their bodies as those of war heroes. So I studied and also I wanted to start this discussion giving you this particular background of who they really are. So my own positionality is really important here. Because I am on one hand I'm an insider and also I am an outsider to this community. In qualitative inquiry, actually it's very important that our positionality. So in the sense of insider, I am a Sinhalese, which is the majority of Sri Lanka, and also I'm a Sri Lankan civilian, I'm a Buddhist person, so that insider status regarding my language, cultural nuance, and also the political history of the civil war, I became a insider of this context. So this shared identity was the primary mechanism for gaining access to the participants' trust, because I am a Sinhala Buddhist civilian in this particular context. So this it's one reason to gain access. That background is helpful for me to gain access to the participants' trust. So, however, my outsider status, because I'm a woman, I'm a female, I'm a civilian, and also I'm a non-disabled researcher. So, in that since I'm an outsider, which provided to be an unexpected methodological advantage. Probably like when I discuss this my research with people in Sri Lanka and even out of Sri Lanka. So what they said was, being a female researcher discussing about masculinity and sexuality with the military person, probably my gender identity will be an disadvantage. But I must say, being a female researcher became a methodological advantage. So while an insider might take certain cultural silence for granted, my outsider status allow me to ask the obvious questions about masculinity and sexuality that a fellow soldier or a male researcher might have felt too uncomfortable to ask. Probably the participant might not answer or express true feelings with another male researcher. And also being non-disabled also kind of an advantage for me to give an authentical interpretation of disabled lives. So and also on the other hand, from the participants point of view, so they saw me as a lady academic. So I have an identity as a academic in a Sri Lankan public university. Also my experience, like 15 years experience teaching sexuality and reproductive health and gender studies. So they saw me as a lady academic. And also, so that on, I felt that they wanted to protect me from bad words, like they had a sort of discipline when they are talking. And especially when I, due to the time actually, so I'm moving to the methodological innovations that I applied for my study. I think this is something important for the new young researchers because since sexuality is something that you can't directly talk with even with a female, that we don't generally discuss about sexuality because it's taking as something a private room discussion. So what I did was I did some like iterative layering method. Like I did 3 to 4 interviews with each participant. So it's for to temporal rapport building to this iterative layering, because I wanted to build trust between myself and with the yeah, so I wanted to in the first layer actually I discussed about their public persona, like about their experiences being a man in Sri Lanka, their experience as a military person, and also in the second interview I discussed about love, and also in the second layer I discuss about their disability, and gradually I moved from love to intimacy in the last interview. So that helped me to by the fourth interview the power dynamic shifted. Then I wasn't just a researcher for them, I was a trusted witness for them. So the second one strategy I used is linguistic permission. So because I actually moderated because I felt like these people are during the primary stages of interview I observed the moderate language that the participants used in their interviews, like in our interviews. So this linguistic filtering actually was a sort of a barrier. So if I explain one word, which called Punya. So that is, generally men are not actually using this word in front of a woman. Especially for me, I'm an academic woman, so they were very, very much careful of using this Sinhala vulgar slang word in front of me. Just only like pronouncing the first word, then they just kept quiet. So this I actually, as a female researcher and a very trickfully, that I wanted to, like, deconstruct the moral gatekeeper role as a female in Sri Lankan society. So I encourage them to, go ahead with any word which is comfortable for you, because I know that this word is particularly using for a man who is lacking fertility or impotency. So sometimes for homosexual and appear less masculine. So I understood why they talk about these words and how they are telling that this is their new identity. So that I didn't show any, shy or, new to this word, and I actually encouraged them. So then I felt that these men are, very much relaxed and discuss about their things. Then the second one, actually, I suggest and I experience is something that boundary management. So boundary management means another example of my study that men actually, so they are military men, and they one person actually not one person, two people, they actually started talking about their sexual relationships and give me phone calls and continuously like ringing me and started like calling and talking about this eroticides feels much more some context are really embarrassing as because I'm also a part of this culture. So but anyways, as being a researcher, actually what I did was I took a break of the participants' feelings. I didn't answer them at the same time. I took a break and I ring them back to a day or two after. Then actually when I start my call with them, so I clearly mention my boundaries as a researcher. So that sort of strategies that I had to use as a researcher. So the other one was the reflexive risk management. As a female interviewing these men, and also at the last interview, they started talking about extramarital relationships and also their premarital relationships, their sexual impotencies, sexual dysfunctions, and everything. So one person actually after explaining all his histories, all his extramarital relationships, he threatened me, but jokingly, if I, tell these stories to someone else, that he can kill me, right? So these sort of things actually unexpectedly, as a female researcher.
Dr. Sumedha?
Yeah.
Could you conclude in a minute?
Yeah, of course, of course. So that was the last strategy that I used. That I use my that academic identity as a shield, and also the ethics that I following. I was able to convince the person that I'm far more better that I'm not just a female, but I'm a very responsible researcher. So in my if I concluding my experience as a female researcher, that we have to have this methodological humanity, like while doing our research, and also we have to be like cannot exactly follow the same frame, and with the experiences that we are getting, that we have to change our strategies, and also especially the things that I talk about, like iterative interviews, linguistic permissions, and careful boundary managements were really important in my sense. And also as a woman, I found that my gender was not a barrier but a bridge. It allows these men to drop the warrior mask and speak as human beings. So I encourage all the female researchers, young researchers, to do more research, and there's nothing to worry about being a female researcher and discussing these taboo subjects. So these are the actually innovative strategies that I used and faced the challenges in the field. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Dr. Sumedha, thank you so much. Due to the lack of time, we could not give you a sufficient time for the lecture. Also, we apologize sincerely for the technical glitch. Thank you so much for delivering such an interesting lecture. Thank you so much. Yes, so we came into contact with Dr. Sumedha through Simanchal sir. So we also thank for connecting and creating this network. Thank you so much. Now it's time to break for the lunch.